All right, welcome everyone. Today, we're going to dive into a really cool business concept that explains something we've all felt. Why that first bite of pizza is always the best. And more importantly, how understanding that feeling can totally change your business strategy. Let's get into it. I mean, really think about it. That first slice of pizza, it's just pure bliss, right? The second one is still pretty great, but by the time you're on your eighth slice, the magic is kind of gone. Or what about that first day of vacation? You're finally there, it's paradise, but a week later, yeah, you're probably thinking about how nice it'll be to sleep in your own bed. This isn't just a random feeling, it's a predictable pattern. And if you're a manager, it's a pattern you can absolutely use to your advantage.
So yeah, that feeling of excitement just kind of fading away, it is absolutely not just in your head. It's a real fundamental law of economics. And listen, if you're managing anything, a product, a service, an experience, this isn't just some dusty old theory. Nope. This is the absolute key to understanding how your customers perceive value. It's why those subscription boxes you see everywhere are always changing what's inside. And it's why the whole all-you-can-eat buffet idea, well, it's often more about the spectacle than about you actually enjoying that 10th plate of food.
Okay, let's give this thing its proper name. We're talking about the law of diminishing marginal utility. Now, I know, that sounds super academic and maybe a little intimidating. But stick with me, because this is probably one of the most important ideas in all of microeconomics. Seriously, it's the bedrock for how we understand why people choose to buy, well, anything. Okay, so let's break this down into plain English. First word, utility. That's just a fancy economist's word for satisfaction or happiness or value. Think of it as a way to measure joy. Then you've got marginal. All that means is the next one, the additional one. So marginal utility is just the extra bit of happiness you get from one more of something. You know, that second slice of pizza or that third episode of a show you're binge watching. And the law just says that eventually, that extra bit of happiness you get from each new one is going to go down. It's inevitable. So to put it simply, the more you have of something, the less you're going to enjoy the next one. It's why we get bored. It's why we crave variety. And really, this is more than just economics. It's deep-seated human psychology. We are hardwired to love new things. Now, for a manager, this is huge. You have to realize you're not just competing with other companies. You're actually competing against your customer's own brain, which is constantly screaming for something new. But, and this is the really important part, that's also where your biggest opportunity lies. Okay, theory is great, but let's make this real. Let's look at a case study to see exactly how this declining value works in practice. We're calling this one the snorkel test, and we're actually going to put some numbers to this feeling of fading joy to see what it looks like on a chart. So let's imagine we're on a trip to a beautiful place, Tanjung Lesung, and the main activity is snorkeling. Now, to measure satisfaction, we're going to use this made-up unit called a util. Don't get hung up on what a util is. The number itself doesn't really matter. What we really care about is how that number changes from one trip to the next. That's where the insight is. Okay, trip number 1. This is the first time. It's brand new, it's thrilling. You see all the colorful fish, the amazing coral. It's a total sensory overload, but in the best possible way. From a value perspective, this is it. This is the peak. This moment sets the bar for the most satisfaction you can possibly get from this one activity. So we're going to give this amazing first experience a score of, let's say 50 utils. That's our high watermark. That's the baseline. Hold on to that number, 50. All right, now it's time for trip number 2. It's still fun, for sure, but the surprise is gone, right? The reef is the same, the fish are the same. Objectively, nothing's changed. But subjectively, everything has changed. That critical ingredient, novelty, is missing. It's become predictable. And in the world of economics, predictability often means less value. And look at that. The satisfaction score plummets. We're down to just 25 utils. That's a 50% drop. So yeah, your total satisfaction is now 75 utils, but the extra happiness you got from that second trip was cut in half. And if you're a manager, what does that tell you? It tells you your customer is willing to pay a heck of a lot less for round 2. Okay, now we're on trip 3, and things are really starting to change. You're getting a little tired, maybe a little cold. The gear is starting to feel kind of annoying. These aren't just little things. Economists call these disutilities. They are negative factors that actually start to subtract from the good feelings. The cost of the experience, in terms of your comfort, is going up. And what happens to our score? It absolutely craters. We're down to only 10 utils. At this point, you're barely getting any joy out of it. You're getting really close to that point where you're thinking, is this even worth it? And then comes trip 4. By now, you're just over it. You're thinking, you know what sounds good? Lying on the beach. That concept of opportunity cost, what you're giving up to do this, starts to feel really high. Snorkeling isn't fun anymore, it's actually become a chore. And there it is, 0 utils. This trip added absolutely nothing to your happiness. In fact, you might even be in the negative. You might actually pay someone not to make you go again. For any business, this is the danger zone. This is the red line. You're not just failing to add value anymore. You might actually be creating a bad memory, a negative feeling associated with your brand. That is a terrible place to be. So when you look at it on a chart like this, it's pretty stark, isn't it? The satisfaction from snorkeling just falls off a cliff. And notice that it isn't a slow, gentle decline. No, it's a collapse. Almost all of the value, all of the joy is packed into that very first trip. And this right here, this visualizes the core problem for any business that relies on people doing or buying the exact same thing over and over. Okay, so that's the problem. We get it. We've diagnosed the issue. Now, for the really important part, what do we do about it? How can we, as managers, use this law to our advantage instead of just getting crushed by it? A big part of that is understanding why offering unlimited stuff often just doesn't work. You see it everywhere, right? Unlimited data, all-you-can-eat specials. The whole idea is that more is always better. But as we've just seen, that's a really, really dangerous assumption to make. And here's why. Because your customers, whether they know the fancy economic terms or not, they get this. They feel it. They know deep down that their own satisfaction is going to drop. They know that 5th plate of wings just isn't going to hit the same as the first. So when you offer them an unlimited deal, they're not thinking, wow, infinite value. No way. They're thinking, well, after the first few, the rest are worth basically nothing to me, and they value the whole package with that in mind. And this right here is the whole game plan. Look at these 2 packages. On the left, you've got the low-value package. It's just more of the same, 3 snorkel trips. You add up the utils, 50 plus 25 plus 10, you get a total of 85. But now look at the package on the right. This is the high-value play. You start with that awesome 50 util snorkel trip, but then you introduce something completely new, a massage. Boom, the customer's excitement resets. You're back at the top of the curve, another 50 utils. Then you follow that with a fantastic dinner. Boom, another reset, another 50 utils. So what's the total? 150 utils. It's not even close. This is the secret. Smart managers offer variety, because variety lets the customer start fresh on that satisfaction curve for each new thing they do. You're not selling them 3 things. You're selling them the first time 3 times over. And by doing that, you're building a package of peak experiences, not a pile of diminishing returns. And guess what? People will pay a premium for that. So let's wrap this all up into a clear takeaway. Your goal is to stop trying to sell more stuff and start focusing on selling better experiences. So what do you need to remember? First, just accept it. All experiences have diminishing returns. It's a law of nature. Don't fight it. Second, remember that more is not always better in your customer's eyes. Third, the real secret sauce is variety. It creates way more total value than just piling on more of the same thing. So your job is to build packages that combine different, awesome first-time feelings. So now I want you to think about your business or your industry. What variety package could you put together to create just unbeatable value for your customers? Seriously, think about it. Could you offer different features instead of an unlimited plan? Could you build a package that gives people a taste of 3 different things instead of a lot of one thing? How can you make sure every experience you offer feels like that incredible first bite?